Hello and welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. I'm DJ Impact, and I got all the Vegas Bad Boys here with me. Guys, it's great to see you. We're going to get right into the show. Before we do that, if you're watching us live, make sure you put all the comments in whichever platform you're on, Facebook Live, Twitch, YouTube. Throw your comments in, and we will try to get it in as we see fit. All right. So with that, let's start with our four-way stop. All right, Sin City Steve, welcome back.
Thank you.
Tell us, man, what was your highlights for the week?
Well, the highlights of the week, Jon Moxley is still your AEW Interim World Champion after defeating the clean-shaven Lionheart Chris Jericho, who entered to his White Zombie theme from those days and had the gear and everything. Pretty cool to see. You know, Chris even dusted off some of the old moves. We saw the Lion Tamer, which was pretty cool. Not going to lie, I marked out a little bit for that. And quite honestly, it was arguably one of Jericho's best matches in months. They definitely delivered. Of course, Moxley bled. At this point, it's a given. If Moxley's wrestling, he's going to get color. He's going to bleed. Yeah, some people are cool with it. Some people hate it. It is what it is. I'm just convinced that Jon Moxley is a masochist that loves to blade at any given opportunity. He's a sick fuck. He said so. Now, obviously, Jericho did get some color in the match as well. That was actually a hard way. So that was pretty interesting. After the match, we had the Jericho Appreciation Society rundown, followed by the BCC. Then Cult of Personality played, the arena popped, and we have our main event for All Out, Moxley versus Punk. Sign me up. Kicking off that same episode of Dynamite was the Coffin match between Darby Allin and Brody King. Now, Darby's thumbtack-covered skateboard made an appearance, and for all of you people that get squeamish about blood or want to bitch about that stuff, well, between the opener and the main, this episode of AEW Dynamite was just probably not up your alley. You probably thought it was the worst thing that they've done in quite some time. This match, I mean, we had the House of Black make an appearance. We had Sting in a box. We had Darby choking Brody King over the top rope with a chain until he fell limp and just so happened to land and do a forward roll right into the casket. And the momentum from such closed the door. Pretty cool spot.
No doubt. All right, man. Simon Street, what did you have for this week?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, Sin City Steve already said, fucking, like literally bloody fucking hell, Dynamite, bloody fucking hell. Yeah, definitely a little bit of that nostalgia. Lion Tamer, Chris Jericho, I was feeling that. I definitely popped for that. Huge on that. Even had his original ring gear and shit. You didn't mention that, but I was like, shit, original ring gear, clean shaven, and then you saw him take the shirt off. He's like, oh, it's regular Jericho today. But that's all good, Jericho. I love it. Other than that, too, NXT 2.0, Apollo Crews versus Roderick Strong. That was a really good sound. I mean, as I've said it before, I really do like to see technical wrestling. I think that it shows a special place in my heart. And that was a very good match, very sound. I appreciate it as well. SmackDown, man, a lot of people don't like it, but I don't give two shits. Hit Row OG3 minus Swerve, obviously. I was really happy to see them back. Don't know where the hell that's going to go. Real talk, no disrespect. Top Dollar need to trim down just a little bit, brother. You was looking a little bit of, it just got trimmed down a little bit, but it still looked good. Obviously, having Pat McAfee beforehand, pointing out all of the different shits that was going to pop out of them and needing the pins made an added touch to that. Last but not least, again, AEW Dynamite, that Coffin match was sick, though. Really, really was. And I really liked, even though the ending was a little bit lackluster, but hey, when they just when things fall into place, as big as freaking, Brody King, I guess that's just what we're going to do. But that's pretty much some of my highlights that I had for this week. A lot of it was the Dynamite.
No doubt. All right, Matt Michaels, what you got?
Let's start with that Raw opening with the women. Oh, that was wonderful. That just fucking way, that brawl is just beautiful. Kevin Owens, come on, man. His promo backstage was incredible. The power bomb of Zeke onto the ring apron, just fucking wonderful to see. Looks like Kevin Owens getting elevated again. Thank you, Judgment Day, for taking out Dominic. If you could, next time break a body part or something like that. So, he's out for a while. You gotta love Chase U, Thea Hale, and going against Ariana Grace. Nice to see them coming along, and they're dominating the level up. Chase U is something like 4-0 or something around there, 6-1. So they're getting a little push for what they are. Santos and Tony D sit down. Beautiful. It was like watching a movie. Toxic Attractions promo too was a wonderful little promo. Sami Zayn creeping away after the Drew beatdown by the Usos. That was wonderful. Ronda telling Shayna you used to be a killer. Liv telling Shayna you're like a bootleg Ronda Rousey. The "You tapped out" chants for Liv. That was great. And of course, the sign of the week on Raw, Gacy likes pineapple on his pizza.
There you go. There you go. All right, man. I'll get in this right quick. Enjoy the Seth Rollins and Angelo Dawkins match right there. Doing a really good job with showcasing both Angelo and Montez. We already know them as a team, but what we're seeing is how these guys look on a just from a singles match, and both of them look great. So and Angelo is looking just every week, it's just putting in that work. Again, just to speak a little bit of Kevin Owens and Asuka and Alexa Bliss, of what's happening in the background is just masterful. Yeah, I'm literally sitting back going like, what's going on? Why nobody ain't saying anything? What is happening back there? And then of course during Asuka and Alexa Bliss promo, you just see these guys, security just run out. Dude, just great stuff. I love it. Even the NXT intro, I just want to shout that out. They kind of did the whole TikTok thing, right? You take your hand, you put it to the camera, and when it comes back, somebody else is there moving their hand from the camera. Cool thing, cool intro. We see exactly who they're going for with that. Giovanni Vinci, I'm loving this guy. Every time he pops up, he's right there for the pose for the camera, and I just love how that live camera is able just to take that shot. Setting up Karrion Kross. The promo was perfect. He said, look, the chosen ones we now know, both Roman and Drew. So now we see why the attack. He was, of course, let go, but we know which ones were chosen. Really good storyline we're going to have coming out of that. Of course, the Gunther and Shinsuke match was really great. The Intercontinental Champion. I didn't expect there to be a different outcome, but it was definitely a great match. And I'll end with Josh Alexander versus Alex Shelley. They had emergence that took place this past Friday. It was Alex Shelley's first time going for a singles title for the Impact Championship. And I tell you, it started off kind of slow. It became very technical. So a lot of, changing.
Wrestling.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can look at it that way, but just torting body parts and all that shit is kind of how it started off, and then it just went full blown, and I knew Josh was going to win, but man, Alex put one hell of a show on, so that would be my 4-way stop right there for the week. All right, let's get right into Too Sweet. All right, Simon Street, what was too sweet for the week?
Well, my definite too sweet for the week was that crazy ass tornado tag match, Lucha Bros versus Rush and Andrade. Man, that was freaking fire. I mean, it was what you would expect it to be. From start to finish, there was a couple of spots that was really cool that I liked, especially the ring apron, move that was done was really, really good. I like how things were set up, how Roosh actually had tied, okay, here's the thing. I always love things in wrestling that make sense. Number one, Brock Lesnar's balls. When they get hit, it's an Achilles heel, right? It incapacitates them. Apparently with lucha, anybody who's a luchador, you take that mask off, man, it's like you got to make some decisions. And, at the end of the day, that mask was used. And again, in great play how it is. I really love how it went down. And like I said, it was really, really, really good from start to finish. And so, definitely they're going to have a partner because they're going to be entering in the trios match. And I believe, if not mistaken, Sin City, who did they say they was going to have for the trios match coming up? They're adding, what you call it?
Yep. So it's going to be Dragon Lee, Roosh, and Andrade going against the Young Bucks and a mystery partner.
Yeah. Because apparently they don't have friends, but I'll get to that a little bit later in my WTF. Another thing that was good was, AAA World Mixed Tag Team Championship. Sammy Guevara and Tay Mello, I guess he changed the name or whatever. Dante Martin and Sky Blue really was looking good. Sky Blue looked really, really good. There was a spot in there toward the end where both Tay Cotty and Sky Blue both, blew the guys out of the ring basically with tornado, hurricane ranas, however you want to call it. It was just really good. I normally am not big for mixed tag matches, but this was actually a good showing. I felt entertained from start to finish of this match. Shout out to Sky Blue. She's getting better and better. Just saying, she's looking real good. And it ain't just her. It's a moveset, too.
All right. Good looking. Let's go over to you, Matt Michaels. What was your too sweet for the week?
Champa and coming out in the Harley race robe. And boy, he made Lashley look good. Purely because Champ is good and Lashley's Lashley. Miz versus AJ, man. Again, good stuff. To end Raw. Cora Jade versus Zoe Stark, really solid match as well. Really nice. Cross's promo was great. Scarlett seductively watching the Usos beat down Drew was fucking great. And then I can't say enough about Shinsuke versus Gunther. The crowd was on fire for that one. They really, you're seeing them do things right because at the end of the shows, the crowds are still in the shows. And that is a huge, huge tip off that the fans are interested and engaged. So, plus they're elevating, the U.S. belt, you're elevating the Intercontinental belt. So I think the fans then feel that the wrestlers have a little more worth, where it's not just, this is where it comes into play. Do you really need Roman on the show all the time? Do you really need Brock on the show all the time? Do you have to have your champion? I've been saying it for years. No. But you got to do stuff like this to make it look good and to work. So there you go.
All right. Sin City, what you got?
All right. So not to repeat things that have been said, but I'm going to repeat things that have been said. Gunther versus Nakamura was great. I absolutely enjoyed that match, as did the entire crowd that was there. Michaels, you brought up a great point. Again, just echoing it. The crowd was on fire for this match. You have two guys that, work strong style. And quite honestly, the entire episode of SmackDown was very good this week. And this match was just the icing on the cake for it. Something that is really, really stand out for me is just how quickly we turned a corner with the presentation of the IC title and the US title on Raw. The Intercontinental title on SmackDown, the US title on Raw. With the video packages and them actually talking up the prestige of the championship. It's crazy. In just a few episodes of TV, more respect and spotlight has been given to those secondary titles than the last several years combined. It's unbelievable. Speaking of the U.S. title, Lashley and Champa, they had a hell of a main event for that championship. Unfortunately, though, I don't think the crowd really bought into Champa as being a credible challenger to Lashley. Obviously, I can totally see why. But, largely Champa has been portrayed as a lackey, a mediocre character. And that was before Triple H assumed the reins, no pun intended, of creative. Also, Cross, I'm so super happy to see what they're doing with him. They're getting it right this time. They're absolutely getting it right. And yes, Simon, that tornado tag team match was absolute fire. So I can't wait to see more of that.
Awesome. All right, so I'll jump in this. I won't speak too much more on Bobby Lashley and Ciampa, but yes, that I circled match of the night for me. And yes, Bobby Lashley is a superstar, despite the fact some of those on our show who's blind to that. The round match.
Ooh.
The round match with Wesley versus Trick Williams. Man, it was something different, right? It was something different, but they put it on a great performance there. I was like, wow, look at that. Actually, looked like we got some boxing going on here, at least for the first couple of rounds. It doesn't have to necessarily be great, but it was something that was different. And of course, it got back to what they know what they're doing, and that's wrestling. Honor No More versus Bullet Club took place for Emergence. That was a great match because Honor No More, the bottom line is this: they've been doing a really good job, and this is the difference between how them representing ROH has been doing over Impact and what you see from ROH over on AEW, right? Honor No More, when they came in, they pretty much really been treated like, the stepchild. They're in, but they haven't been given any title matches. They win sometimes. They're just practically ignored. So this was all about the fact that if they win, they could get title matches, but if they didn't win, they would have to be disbanded. And it ended up being, of course, Honor No More winning the match. And now we're finally going to look. They just didn't jump right in an Impact and they just start handing them tag team titles and, whatever other titles out there. They had to work for it. And it was a great match watching the 5-on-5 take place. Hit Row. Awesome to see that they're back again. It was a shock to hear it, but it was exciting. Man, you're talking about, Vince McMahon sometimes get it right. He got that wrong for sure. Last one, Shayna bringing out the leather jacket, the leather jean jacket. You know what this means? She looked exactly the way when she was in NXT, when all the NXT women were scared of her, when Dakota Kai was hiding.
Yeah, was hiding.
I'm getting the Shayna that I want, and I'm so excited to see, her in their gear. It was just too sweet. So shout out to that. All right, we got our WTFs, and so we're gonna get right into that right now. All right. I'm not going to have too much because I'm going to let, I talked with Matt Michaels earlier this week. Apparently, I still have the same exact feelings of what he's going to call out on this show. So I'm going to let him, I might even give him the other 1 minute and 30 seconds to continue if he needs. But I will say you this.
Oh, but in that case, let me go to the bathroom. I'm playing. I'm just messing.
Let me just say this, though. In terms of NXT, guys, you've got to cut off that audio crowd chat that you have. It's 100%. Obvious. It's loud. It makes no sense. Cut it off. Get rid of it. Your audience is already hyped, so you don't have to have that track going in the background. It's just so annoying. What the fuck? All right, I'm done with mine. So I'm going to go over to, you know what? Why don't we go to you, Sin City? Did you have some WTFs this week?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. Madison Rayne was signed as not just a wrestler, but a coach for the AEW women's division, right? A coach. She's had 2 matches in AEW, and neither one have been good. This one came at the expense of Jade Cargill. What the fuck? Without question, the worst part of the show. At least that match was short, thankfully. The AEW Trios titles brackets were announced. Yay!
Yeah.
Say what you will about the number of titles. That's not why this is being mentioned here. It's not. The left side of the bracket has a lot of potential. The right side of the bracket, not so much.
Lopsided.
Also, the very field of teams is pretty baffling in itself. Red Dragon isn't cleared. No JAS. No BCC. But we got the Trust Busters. Wait, who are the Trust Busters? Ari Daivari, Slim J, and Parker Boudreaux. In case you didn't know, that's Harland from NXT 2.0. He just has hair now. What the fuck? And oh, get this. So with the news that Hangman Page will not be a partner of the Bucks and he'll be in the corner of the Dark Order, sadly, I'm thinking that means that the Dark Order is going to get a fast track right to the finals and face the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega in the finals. It just makes sense, and it's going to suck.
Yep.
Speaking of titles, yet another fucking random title defense on AEW TV. Sammy Guevara, Ty Mello defeating Dante Martin and Sky Blue to retain the AAA. Yes, that's the AAA mixed tag team titles. Oh, fuck.
I mean, you pretty much hit. Oh man, you know what? Let's just keep it going. Let me go to you, Matt Michaels. Just go ahead and go with it, because I was shocked Steve actually brought out a few of those right there, because I had some of those I talked about as well. All right, go ahead, Matt Michaels. What you got?
All right, well, let's start with NXT and Naomi being on NXT. I was surprised. Oh, it was Lash Legend.
Come on.
Wow. Holy shit. Okay. Way to take her look. And what the fuck was that thing with Apollo's eyes? They cut to they shot in his eyes before going to commercial. And then it was the whole diamond mine laid out in like a green, like haze type of thing. I'm still, if anyone knows what the fuck that was, please let me know.
To be fair, they've been doing stuff like that with him since he's been back. So we don't know what it's fully about, but it's just, yeah.
I don't know. It made no fucking sense to me. Fatty King bleeding at 4:12 into the show. Way to go. Former world champion Hangman Page now relegated to Dark Order's corner, man. That guy has upside. Fuck Anna Jay. She makes nothing look real in those fucking awful choke out someone backstage for no reason.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley throwing the fucking 40-pound championship belt at the ref at Aubrey was such a dick move. She wasn't ready for it. The fucking thing hits her. It drops to the ground. He's becoming just a fucking piece of shit, man. Unbelievable. And holy shit, he was bleeding.
Price to pay.
And then as I'm, thinking, oh, this is fucking pointless. And this is, oh, look, Jericho's now bleeding. Yay. This is unbelievable. You lazy booking fucks.
As I said at the very beginning, it was hard way on Jericho, but I get you.
And you gave him extra time for this shit? Ah, goodness.
Then we've got two champions is what they kept saying, which, how the fuck do you have two champions? Stop this bullshit and just, stop this intern champion stuff. It's fucking amateur fucking hour. Okay. Punk. Why do you bring back Punk unadvertised? You're not breaking 1 million. Punk helps you get over that. All you had to do was hype it up within the last 2 days before he showed up. Let people know. Sell some more fucking tickets. Add some seats. For God's sakes, don't just bring out the guy, because it's not fucking getting eyes over to your TV. People aren't running to the TV going, oh my God, Jon Moxley's on. It's bad. It's fucking bad. Hype him up. Mm-hmm. Ronda and Shayna, what's with the raccoon eyes? What the fuck is that all about? Yeah, AAA makes belts. Fucking shove those up your asses. And who in the holy fuck is Zach Clayton? Who is Zach fucking Clayton?
Good points, man. Thanks for that. You hit them all. All right.
I would hope so.
Let me see. Let me see, Cyber Street. If you were on the same wavelength here, that not only Michaels but Sin City Steve called out. What you got?
Well, first and foremost, I want to let everybody to watch out for Matt Michaels' new show. What the fuck is really wrong with AEW? A scolding by Matt Michaels, because that show will be long drawn out and dry as raw. But besides that point, a couple of what the fucks that I have is SmackDown. That contract signing with Liv Morgan was god awful. It was horrid. Not because Shayna Baszler so much, it's just how it went down. Like the whole damn thing. Like, I want badass Shayna Baszler like you want badass Shayna Baszler. Not face Shayna Baszler, do the right thing with a leather jacket. I want you to be an ass kicker. I want you to go up in there and rough some people up, break some goddamn elbows out their sockets and shit. I don't want her tickling funny bones and shit. And that's what I got when Ronda Rousey swaking her little hips and shit. All that used to be a killer. Girl, if you don't get the hell out of here, unannounced and shit. Talk about unannounced. Punk was unannounced. Her ass is unannounced. Besides the point. Parker on AEW. Next, anyways, apparently QT Marshall can't get over a goddamn stanchion fence. His ass is tripping over there. Couldn't even chase goddamn Starks. What the fuck was that? And then when CM Punk came out, everything happened. For everybody that said Punk ain't gonna be healthy, guess what? I told you so, because his toe is well and groomed. But what the fuck was up with the goddamn ring bell that came out the last minute? Did y'all see that shit? A whole goddamn ring bell that just been thrown in the goddamn ring. It made no damn sense. It made no damn sense at all. Sin City, could you understand why we would just throw a goddamn ring belt when a man has injured his toe? You want him to be out again? Obviously, Matt Michaels is going to be pissed the hell off because we have interim champs. We're going to have an interim champ again. So those are my what the hells. Oh, and the last what the hell? Oh, no, never mind. Michael said it already.
It's all good. It's all good. You can get it in if you want to say it too. No.
I don't want to do that. It's already dry enough. Let's move on.
All right.
Shout out to David Burns watching from Cedar Hills, Texas.
Yes.
I thought you said Mr. Burns at first. I was like, whoa.
Yes.
All right, but look out.
Smithers.
All right. So we've kind of mentioned both Shayna and Ronda in the comments that was made, but as far as I'm concerned, this looked like this may eventually become something, and I want to look out for Shayna and a Ronda match. I have talked about that several times. I've also thrown Sonya's name in there as well. I really want to see now the style of bringing sort of that MMA and wrestling involvement between these two. I think it would be something that is awesome, and overall, I think it's going to be put together. I think they kind of sowed that seed there when Ronda made the comment that she made. So I'm going to say I'm looking out for that. At Emergence, after Jordynne Grace beat Mia Yim, who comes out, well, you guys might not be familiar with her, but her name is Masha Slamovich, and she's been undefeated, whooping ass in Impact Wrestling. And let me tell you, that right there is going to be a match, because not too many people can handle, can go up against Jordynne Grace. Mia Yim did a good job, don't get it wrong, but Jordynne, man, she could be a beast. But Masha, though, this is going to be crazy. So I'm looking forward as they start to progress for their next event for that. And Heat Wave coming up next week. I guess great advertisement for both Braun and JD McDonough. I'm liking JD. I don't know much about him before he came, but I just love his confidence for a guy who seems like he can't handle himself in terms of because of his size. but he seemed like he's going to be a really good match for Braun, and I'm looking forward to that. Also, Escobar and D'Angelo, the street fight. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Hopefully, Escobar can just remove himself and get away from the family. And, I'm excited for that. So that's mine. Let me move over to Simon Street. What are you looking out for?
Well, I'm just like you, Impact. I'm looking for that D'Angelo and Escobar street fight. That's going to be good. As was mentioned earlier by Matt Michaels, I believe. Great promo to get that kicked off on this week's NXT 2.0. I gotta say this one kind of snuck up on me because at first I was kind of like, but then NXT really did a good job with laying out the plan and the floor work for this and seeing the pieces all come together. It's the culmination. How I like to see feuds end. I don't like to see just a squash match. That's it. So this is good. The build up is great. Next thing that I'm actually looking for is mostly because of the brackets is the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship tournament bracket. And the reason why is there's a lot of pressure, obviously, because, we know that the legacy of Vince McMahon was we don't give a shit about women's tag team, let alone tag team in general. So them kind of putting stock into some of these brackets, at least I'm thinking from what I'm seeing, thought in entail going forward is pretty good. And I see a lot of things to where we're going to find out because there's a lot of NXT names on here, right? Super excited to see Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark on there. I'm not sure how far they're going to go. They could be going all the way to the semifinals. That'd be great. But some things that I'm looking forward that's going to be really interesting is obviously from SmackDown, Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. Don't know how you got there, but hey, they won, that match. But it's interesting if Raquel Rodriguez gets up there, and we already know Io Sky and Dakota Kai. What's the interaction going to possibly be if they get to meet each other in the championship? Obviously, be the fact that Dakota Kai and Raquel Rodriguez were both champions in NXT for quite a long time. So, that's kind of my shoe-in pick right now, as I'd like to see those two be the last two teams. Definitely not to the work that Triple H did in NXT, black and gold. That's just what I got to say. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right. Matt Michaels, what are you looking out for?
NXT Heatwave, you said pretty much all the matches, but, Cora Jade and Roxanne, get to see that kind of show its head and where they're going with that. And Zoe versus Mandy. Hopefully we see Zoe take the title, and then you have her on the tag team tournament with Nikita as the NXT Women's Champion, and that gives exposure to that title on SmackDown to that huge fucking audience. Very smart move, using 2 million eyes to possibly bring more attention onto NXT. But it's going to be interesting to see if she does win that match too, because always a bad sign when someone lays out a champ right before the week of the championship match. Bliss and Asuka and Bayley and Io and Dakota and all that match should be fucking hot at the Castle Clash there. And Hit Row versus the Street Profits. That's what I want to see. You got a minute now? Cool. Let's actually see that match, because before you break up the Street Profits, why not have Hit Row kind of be the factor that breaks them apart?
Even better. Maybe, why not? I was going to say, have it be like a tag turmoil for the championship, even though they might not win. That would be interesting too. But that could facilitate breaking up the Street Profits too. Just one thought I wanted to add.
What was your thoughts, Sid? He looked like he was about to say.
I was so sure that Simon was gonna say something, but no.
Okay.
No, go ahead and say it, man.
I will here in just a moment.
All right. Well, it is your turn.
So yeah. The babyface push has begun for absolute Ricky Starks, and I'm all for it. The dude's been over for quite a while now, but holy shit, the reaction that he got this past week was one of the better ones of the show. Get this man some TV time, get this man in some programs. Seriously, AEW could have another pillar on their hands if they play their cards right. Definitely looking forward to the upcoming Daniel Garcia, Bryan Danielson 2 out of 3 falls match on Dynamite this coming week. I'm sure that obviously in the match they're going to allow Garcia to get one win, one fall over Bryan Danielson, but then you have Danielson get his win back, and then that sets up Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho at All Out. Which, has been rumored for quite some time. Now we can see exactly that this is going to be the path that's going to get us there. Elsewhere, thankfully, it looks like Ezekiel has been written off of WWE TV. Yeah, that can free up Kevin Owens to, I don't know, maybe go be there for his best friend, Sami Zayn, after the Usos turn on him. And I don't know, maybe have Zayn and KO team up as a couple of baby faces that win a pair of those championships. I don't know. Looking out for it. But no, what I was thinking that you were going to say, Simon, is you could even use the Hit Row feud if you went down that route as a way to spin off Montez Ford or Angelo Dawkins and put him into the Hit Row group as well. So that's definitely an avenue that you could go with that. But yeah, solid stuff. A lot of stuff to look forward to for sure.
Absolutely. In fact, I think so. Here's the exact audio quote of when Hit Row came out. We had cameras set, we had microphones set up with Swerve Strickland. So you ready? Here we go.
Oh Lord.
Hit Row. Fuck. That's it.
Hey, that's what happens when you bask in glory too long.
That was, he said one word. All right. Well, Swerve, I get it, man.
That's why they OG 3. Oh, 3.
All right. Best in Show. Winner for Best in Show for me, WWE Raw. Man, Monday night was just fire for me. I mean, we're talking Seth and Angelo Dawkins. We saw KO and Ezekiel. Great with the Women's Tag Team Championship tournament. I talked about how I enjoy KO. And then Asuka and Alexa, as they were doing their promos, everything that was going on in that background. The Bobby Lashley and Champa match, I put match of the night. Even Chad Gable versus Dolph Ziggler, you got a chance to see a little bit of some amateur wrestling there. It was kind of cool. It's different, right? We don't get to see a lot of that, but it was fun. And of course, they went to what we're more familiar with: AJ Styles, The Miz. It was just a fire show for me. I thought it was almost between that and SmackDown, but I just thought Raw kept bringing on the hits. So that is my Best in Show. All right, Simon Street, what was your Best in Show this week?
Well, my definite Best in Show for me was AEW Dynamite this week. I just felt like it was pretty consistent. Yeah, it wasn't perfect, obviously, as we mentioned earlier with Madison Rayne versus Jade Cargill. But other than that, man, Ricky Starks, Aaron Solo, that was cool. Like I stated earlier, Lucha Bros versus Roos and Andrade was cool as well. And in the end was crazy, man. It was a good match just in general with Chris Jericho, Lionheart. Give me a little bit of nostalgia feels. I love it. And then, Punk coming back. Hey, I'm a Punk guy. So, him coming back was really cool. And I was very entertained. Probably would say SmackDown was probably a close second. I felt like that was packing a punch as well. But, AEW, man, anytime I can stay for the party, I can get access unlike Impact. And it's just fun from start to finish. And the great thing is, I ain't got to bleed because they do it for me.
Before I move over to you, Sin City, let me just speak right quick on yes, I didn't add them to a highlight for me. The Lucha Bros and the Andrade Rush match, it was cool, right? I have nothing against that. I thought it was a great match. It's just that if there, I just couldn't necessarily be invested in it because I'm just seeing them just put on a good match. It's the same thing for Emergence when they had a match between Bandito and Ray Horace. It was a great match. Can you imagine those two? They're the show was fire. It was fast. It was, but you know they don't do anything. They haven't been on Impact or anything. But it was a great match. So I don't know. It's I guess it's great to have great matches, but if there's no storyline to really help build what it is, I'm just not into it. You know, that's why I didn't put those guys in minds. But yeah, I mean, it was, you know, if he was in the wrestling, it had to be for me. Probably it would have been match of the night. All right, sorry for going back to that. Sin City Steve, what was your best in show?
Best in show was AEW Dynamite, Quake at the Lake. Side note, I do love the random fucking names that they do for some of these shows. But yeah, from top to bottom, the only real major misstep that I can think of was that women's match. Outside of that, I mean, yeah, we've definitely talked about the key points of this show. I was thoroughly entertained, and all around, finally, all of the wrestling shows that I watched this week, which I did not watch NXT 2.0, but I did watch SmackDown in its entirety. I did watch Raw in its entirety, Rampage, and Dynamite, obviously. It was a great week of wrestling.
Yeah.
It was a great week of wrestling. There was a little bit of something for everybody. So, yeah, SmackDown was a close second for me, but Dynamite was it's the main event for the week for me.
Yeah, no doubt. Matt Michaels.
NXT, but really the best in show was seeing a car crash backstage on Raw, seeing security running around backstage on Raw. No one knows what the fuck is going on.
Right.
And then right at the end, as AJ is in the ring, he looks over and the cops are dragging out Dexter Lumis from the front. That was the best fucking thing because talk about just doing something that no one saw coming and was just brilliant. They didn't fucking tip a hand or anything to why this random shit was going on.
Right.
Backstage.
Continuity.
And by the way,
they arrested him proper too, because if you were watching, it looked like they really handcuffed like this motherfucker.
Yeah, and I mean, by the way, man, and you can have more time, Michael, as you. But that whole thing was just going back to that. Even when they show, because the camera, you would have to probably go on, I guess, the dirt sheets or the websites to really even see. To hear who that was, because the camera never zoomed in. It was far from a distance to go, God, that looks like, but I'm not sure. And
that's what the announcers did too.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. They said that he's like, what is that? And that's all perfect. That's all I wanted to add to that. I thought that was that was great. Yes.
Yeah, and G Scoop, you've got a great point. Subtle storytelling, and that's the whole thing. Subtle storytelling does.
Don't insult our intelligence. Don't insult our intelligence. People who watch wrestling are smarter than most people. We did that show a long time ago where we did a 3 count. We're a lot smarter than people give us credit.
Were you done, Michaels?
I guess so.
Oh, okay. All right, y'all. Well, look, thank you for hanging out with us. I forgot to in fact, I'm gonna put that on right now. We got our 3 count coming on next when we end this program. So we have 3 good topics that we're going to be talking about. So when this show ends, make sure you're following us, because that's the only way you're going to get the notifications on either Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. And actually, it's funny, we're live on Twitter too. So if you follow us on Twitter, you can just watch us on there as well. But definitely hop on, because there's going to be 3 good topics, and we want to know what your thoughts are on that too. But thank you for hanging out with us for Wrestling Talk. We will be back next week. It's going to be I'm hoping a lot of good wrestling again. You know, shout out to everyone with the signs that was saying, "Thank you, Triple H." We're gonna probably see a lot more of those going on. So We'll see. With that, we'll see you next week. Happy wrestling.